Welcome to Fielding Learning Podcast and Fielding English Live. Today we are going to have fun here, guys. This is the place where we help you to learn English and immerse yourself in the learning experience, sharing tips and making you part of the American culture. Today we will dive deep into the world of summer camps. I'm here with my co-host, my husband, Eric, and I think I told you guys, I have been telling you guys that he is a native English speaker. I'm from Brazil, but he is from the United States of America.
Yes, I'm local. I'm very local, and we're really excited about today's topic because we have our son in summer camp this week and next week and probably some more weeks, and we want to talk about all the different types of summer camps you can consider sending your kids to.
Yes, today is the last day of his first camp. He is going to arts and music camp. He loves, because he loves to draw and do painting. So join us as we explore deep, as I said, into the world of summer camps. We are going to talk about different types of camps, their unique activities, and how they can enrich the lives of children and teens.
That's right. So let's get things started with the first kind of camp. So let's talk about that. Generally, they're referred to as traditional camps. So Maria, what are some of the activities that people would experience, kids, in a traditional camp?
Number one, in a traditional camp, kids would go hiking. So what is hiking? It's walking in nature trails.
And they might also do swimming. So swimming, we all know what that is. So that's all kinds of water-based activities. Very fun for kids.
Yeah, and then also in traditional camps, we have arts and crafts, which you can create various art projects. If you are into arts, that is a great camp to go.
Now, here in Florida, the next activity wouldn't be too common, but more north, camps would have campfires and storytelling. Now, there'd probably be some storytelling, but campfires are something that you'd have in camps where it would be a little bit cooler.
So we love campfires, but we did in Virginia.
Yes.
We saw actually people doing it because we feel that it's dangerous. And what is the next one?
The last camp activity is archery. That's common in a traditional camp. So those are some of the activities that we would see. Now, the next kind of camp we want to introduce to you is called a sports camp. So a sports camp is going to be involving different types of specific sports.
Yes, for example, soccer drills and matches where you can practice and play soccer games. If you love soccer, just do it. Go to sport camps doing soccer and playing,
That's right. And any other sport you can think of, like basketball or baseball or golf. These are all the kinds of things you would do in a sports type of camp, which many kids, probably all kids, would love to do for a whole week of camp.
Now, if you want more adventure, you can go to adventure camps. Let's see the first activity that you can find on a adventure camp.
Well, an adventure camp are going to be more strenuous and adventure type activities. Like, for example, kids would like to do rock climbing camp. And that's where you would work on those rocks and learn the skills in climbing rocks. And also zip lining. Zip lining has become very common and fun. People love to do that. You slide down a long rope and you're harnessed for safety, but everyone who tries zip lining, people say it's filled with excitement, and kids of all ages would like that.
And how about whitewater rafting? So, have you done that before?
Yes, I have. So I did whitewater rafting on a couple rivers. One was in West Virginia, near Charlestown, West Virginia. I did whitewater rafting. It was a while back. It was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, so what do you do in the whitewater rafting?
So that's basically going down the river in a boat or an inner tube, where you go through the what's called the white water, which is basically the water that's running faster and is kind of bumpy, and people have a lot of thrills as they navigate the water, and you definitely get wet.
So what else can we do on a adventure camp?
Well, the last couple examples that people might enjoy would be wilderness survival skills, where they would learn how to develop the skills if they're in the wild, how to work with, knives and making fires and foraging for food in the woods. So that's survival. And then the last kind of specialty adventure camp would be mountain biking. Mountain biking has become very popular and seems kind of dangerous to me, but you ride a bike over bumpy hills and trails, and people seem to like that.
Okay, so now if you are not into adventure camps, so you like arts, so there are arts camps. Let's start with the first example, first activity that you can do on the art camp, which is painting and drawing. So it's like you create your artworks using paint and pencils.
That's right. So painting and drawing, our son, of course, loves painting and drawing, so he's a perfect person for art camp. And then connected to the same kind of thing, arts is sculpture and pottery. And here kids would learn how to make things out of clay and make pots and that sort of thing. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yesterday, for example, Thomas came home and then he actually made a sculpture. What was a dog sculpture, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, do we say sculpture, right? Sculpture.
Sculpture.
Oh, we have to say the P, so sculpture. Yeah, so say the P too. This is not silent. Sculpture. Mm-hmm. Very good. So what can we do? What else can we do at arts or when we go to a arts camps?
Well, there are a couple other examples of arts camps that someone might enjoy. So you have theater and dance. So theater, learning how to do drama and acting and doing role plays, that would be a popular kind of camp. And then dance is another form of expression for people in the performing arts, and they would learn different dance styles, so ballet and square dancing and other types of dancing.
So why do you think it's so popular taking kids to camps when they are on a school summer vacation?
Well, one of the problems with kids being off from school for 2 months is boredom and not being able to do their favorite activities. And also, remember, you have parents who are working. And so during the school year, the parents are at work and the kids are at school, so it makes it easy to take care of them. But during the summer, the kids are home. So the question is, what to do that's productive for your kids when they're off school. And camps, learning and activity camps are a great way to have them develop as young people.
So can you find free camps, or do we have to pay extra for that?
I think that most of the time you have to pay for camps, especially these types of specialty camps. But for certain kinds of Bible camps and related to churches, those are mostly free because it's really encouraged spirituality and religion with kids. So I know of many Bible camps that are almost free.
Okay, so the next type of camp is science camps. So if you love science, you can do it. And one activity is chemistry experiments, where you conduct scientific testings and reactions. Wow, that would be really fun. I think Thomas would love to go on a science camp.
Science camp would be fun, doing something like that. But also here where we live in Florida, you'd have rocket building camps, which would be related to learning about the space and rockets. And then even connected to space, you'd have astronomy camp. So in astronomy camp, kids would learn about using a telescope and looking up at the stars and the planets and finding out how many rings does Saturn have.
Yes, and yeah, that would be really interesting. So how about we have robot projects, right? That is also linked to science camps, and you can build or program robots, and that would be really fun, right?
Absolutely. And then, finally, aside from that, you might have looking at natural environments and learning about the science behind, bugs and, ecology and that kind of thing. Those could be classified as a science camp.
Yes, so we are talking about a lot about science, and now let's talk about technology, because we also have technology camps where you can, if you are into coding, you can take coding classes, for example, and where you're going to learn how to program languages, like learning programming languages. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, that's right. So technology camps might have kids learning about video games and designing them, 3D printing, and basically things that are related to the STEM field, science and technology. So all these types of activities, virtual reality camp, these would be camps for kids that might be a little bit nerdy and really want to learn about science.
So the STEM is a word that is STEM, right? So what does that stand for?
So STEM is a word which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say STEAM now, and they add an A into the word, and the A stands for arts.
Okay, that looks really interesting. Now, if you do you have other activities that you can do on a technology camp?
I think we pretty much covered those, and we next move to another type of camp, which is called just a pure nature camp.
Ooh, wow! If
Nature.
you are into nature, you see nature, you can go to the wildlife observation, for example, when you watch and study animals. Oh, that would be really fun, right?
That would be fun. Just don't get too close to them, especially if they are dangerous.
Or alligators.
Yes, like the alligator camp. You don't want to be too up close and personal with an alligator. But then you'd also have plant identification camps where you'd learn, not to touch poison ivy, and things like that, and understanding plants, and nature hikes. And a big component of this group of camps would be photography camp.
Oh, wow, yeah, that would be great too.
Yeah, taking pictures of nature, of animals, of plants. Kids of all ages would really enjoy photography camp.
Yeah, so now if we don't want to go to nature camps, we can also do horseback riding camps. Oh, I think my sister Adriana, she would love this camp because she loves horses. So you can have, we can take riding lessons where you learn how to ride horses, because you need to be safe while riding a horse.
That's right. So many of the activities connected to horseback riding, horse care, grooming your horse, trail rides, all of that is going to be part of the horseback riding camps. Seems like a lot of fun. Now,
we are talking about those kids that they really love to run, and then they are also, I would say, they want to be moving around. So how about those kids that they don't have the ability to move? Do we have camps for those as well?
Yes, so that's another category of camps that are called special needs camps. And here, kids that do have special needs would be in special programs like adapted sports camps, where the sports could be, for example, wheelchair basketball, or something like that, where they might need just a special need accommodation for the camp, or music and art that's especially for therapy, for people that camps where they could use the music and art for relaxation. So these would be a couple of the first examples of special needs camps.
But overall, camps are all inclusive, right? Because it doesn't matter if your child is in a special need situation, he can go to any camp he wants, because here we also have all inclusive. So all camps are inclusive. So he will do it or she will do it what they can. So let's go now to, you said about Bible study sections or Bible camps, actually. So these are the faith-based camps.
Yes,
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, so faith-based camps would be a Bible study type of camps, for example. So reading and discussing the Bible, spending time kind of understanding the messages and what it means in the Christian Bible. But of course, it could be any denomination. I think that you're going to find camps that would be inclusive for all faiths, and that's really important in faith-based camps. And we're going to find prayer services and worship, different kinds of faith-based discussions of all faiths. So this would be part of faith-based camps. And community service is a big part of that. As many people know, that community service groups, that is helping with volunteering for homeless and other types of needs in a community, there would be camps specially set up for people to learn about doing those community service kinds of activities, and camps would cater to that for families who are interested in that.
Oh, wow, that would be really good too. So now let's talk about marine biology camps. So you could start with a tide pool exploration where you study, they study marine life in tide pools. So what do you mean by that? So tide pools, what is that?
So near the ocean is an area, an eco habitat called a tide pool. So a tide pool is basically next to the shore where the tide is going to rise or fall. And when the tide drops so that more of the shore is exposed, then different kind of animals would come out. You'd be able to see crabs and clams and other kinds of marine life. And when the tide pools are exposed, it's a great learning opportunity. So people would like that. So
in this marine biology camp, you can also you said about marine life observation, right?
Yes.
You can do a oceanography. It's the same.
Yes.
Oceanography. How do we say that?
Oceanography.
Oceanography.
Yes.
Oceanography lessons, and also beach cleanup projects, which is really
and
important.
And also scuba diving. So scuba diving is snorkeling, where someone would go underwater with special equipment, would be a special camp, and that would be something that a kid would need training and certification on.
Okay, so the next one would be academic camp. So if you are into math, science, language, so this you should definitely go to academic camps. So let's start with math challenges, where you're gonna solve mathematical problems. He is the one, the math.
I love
He's
math.
the math. He's the math guy here. I don't like it, but he is really good. Now you also can go to science experiments, right? Would be one of the academic camp.
Yeah, so any academic subject that someone might take in school, math, science, creative writing, history, and even something like language learning. I mean, we could have a whole separate category on that, but you'd have Spanish camps, French camps, German camps. So language learning is an important subject for camps.
Okay, so now how about those people who are into leadership? Do we have camps for that?
Well, as kids get older, especially if they're 12, 14, 15, and they're involved in leadership training like through the Boy Scouts and other youth groups, they definitely would need to develop skills in team building, public speaking, other leadership types of the word we use in English is competencies, or leadership competencies. So there would be camps that help them, like a public speaking camp. If a kid is 14 or 15, wants to go into politics and be a really good public speaker, well, doing a camp to learn how to be a better public speaker would be a good thing to do.
Okay, so now how about those people who love to cook?
Well, Maria, that's you. You love to cook, so you should probably talk all about cooking camps.
Cooking camps, that's my jam. Yeah, cooking and cleaning. Okay, so you can go and take cooking classes where you're gonna learn how to prepare meals, and then also nutrition education, where you're gonna understand healthy eating, because it's really important to eat healthily, and also baking, pastry making, where you're gonna understand and learn how to make baked goods like bread and all Italian foods and many other things. Also international cuisine exploration. You could, for example, learn how to make a feijoada.
Delicious.
Feijoada. Okay, what else can we do in a cooking camp?
Well, I think you covered most of it, but you could cook desserts, pastry, international cuisine, any topic related to cooking.
Can we mix science with cooking? Do you think we would have a camp for that?
Well, I guess it's possible. And any of these camping categories we're talking about could be a mixed camp. I mean, you could have a camp that is a combination of, has some outdoor activities, some indoor activities. In fact, the camp that our son is going to next week is a kind of a mixed fun camp. So they're going to do art, they're going to do science, and they're going to do outdoor activities. So we're talking about very specialized camps, but of course you could have a camp that combines some of these topics.
Great. Now let's go to the next camp. We could go on a dance camp.
Did we? Yes, that's right, dance camp. So dance camps here, any of the famous dances that people love, ballet, hip hop, salsa, tango, all these kinds of things are great for a special camp to learn those skills.
So now speaking about dance, how about music camps?
That's right. So we may have touched on this a little bit with another camp topic, but as we all know, kids, especially young kids that take up musical instruments, develop a lifelong appreciation of learning music and loving those instruments. So you could go to a piano camp, a violin camp, a band camp. Those would be very common camps as young people learn how to play specific musical instruments.
Wow, that would be really interesting. I actually love to sing, and that would be a good camp for me as well, music camp. Now the next one would be film and acting camps, because if you are into dance, if you love also instruments, you can also go in on a camp that is for film and acting if you love to do acting.
Yes, that's right. Film and acting camps. So you might actually learn the technical aspects of film and production, like editing, screenwriting, directing. But what's interesting is that because social media has made it so easy for people to set up their own studios and do their own kind of productions, that a lot of these things that used to be a much more specific field that people would take years and years to learn. Now we can do much more easily just with social media. So I think that the barriers for people learning how to do this have been really helped.
Yeah. So now we actually covered the STEM. Yeah. So
Yes,
the
we did.
STEM camps. Yeah. We don't need to talk about that. Now sports and fitness camps.
Sports and fitness could be another special category. So you could have team sports like a soccer camp. You could have a yoga camp. You could have a camp that teaches obstacle course navigation and agility. It could be a fitness training camp. So sports and fitness would be another area that people would want to send their kids.
Okay, before we let you all go, so let's. I'd like to ask you guys a question. If you have ever gone on a camp, okay, and also what is your favorite ones? Just type in the comments, and we'll be happy to know. I would say I have never actually been. Now we enrolled Thomas to his first camp. You have been to a couple of camps in the past, but yeah, so I have never, but I know how important it is nowadays for the kids, because they will learn a lot. So just type in the comments there, and that's it, right? So we covered all types of activities of camp and activities that you can think about. If you know an extra one, just also let us know. Type there in the comments.
That's right. So camps are a great way for kids to learn in the summer. We've talked about all the different types. So we would definitely encourage you, wherever you are, during breaks to look at camps where your kids can grow and learn.
It can be free, but also can be expensive. So you have choices. Thanks for tuning in to the Fielding Learning podcast and Fielding English, all social media here. Remember, guys, it's about immersion, not perfection. Follow us on all social media platforms at Fielding English, and we see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Eric.
See ya.
Bye.